Okay, you see me now? Cool. So, it's a quick overview. The type of things we're going to cover in this course, we're going to like basically just cover everything that I have like that I do and like my thought processes behind everything. Um, and the goal here is to get you guys are the reason you kind of got it so cheap is because you're going to help me build a video course. Um, like just basically us working together is helping me, by knowing your questions and whatnot. I'm going to be putting out a video course um, for the same price you purchased for. Uh,
Right.
so
Yeah, it
uh,
makes sense. Yeah.
yeah. So that's why it's a little cheap, and that's also why it's worth it for me to get up at 4 in the morning, and also, um, I want you to do well with this. So the things we're gonna cover, um, just from start to finish. I'm sure you've looked all this over. We're gonna cover things like how often should I mail, the types of emails and mindset and just a whole bunch of stuff. But on today's call, we'll probably cover the mindset and before we begin section. But at the
Yeah.
same time, um, I like to give my students an option. Like, do you want to start from the beginning or do you want to go from where you're at? Like, because you get to work with me on a campaign pretty much, like or multiple campaigns, um, and I'm more than happy to jump in and just start working on stuff. But it's easier, like for at least the first one or two calls, if we just lay the groundwork for the type
Yeah.
of stuff we'll be talking about. Because when I do the voice recordings, I tend to use certain terms over and over again, and it helps if we get all that basic stuff out of the way, so you know what I mean.
Yeah. Okay.
But at the same time, I'm conscious of that you're busy with your kid and everything else. So, well, what would you like to do?
Um, I, I think let's start with the basics, and then
Okay.
maybe we can speed up at a later date. I don't know. Um,
Okay.
are
Well,
you wanting to skip the mindset or something?
no, 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 no. What I mean is, I offer. I like basically like some students just want to come in and get started on like the next thing they want to promote. Others want to have like the groundwork. And what I found is the ones that have the little bit of groundwork right here where we talk about stuff and kind of explain the theory behind it tend to do a little bit better than the ones who just want to jump right in because they don't get it. And then the ones
Yeah.
that jump right in are like a week later they're like, okay, wait, what's not clear? And we have to like clarify it. You know what I mean? Um,
Yeah, yeah. I know it's early for you and you've had no sleep, but yeah, I don't want to skip it really. I want to.
Cool. No, no, yeah, I definitely didn't want to skip it. I just wanted to see, make sure that you weren't like, hey, I need to get this email out for a promotion.
No, no, no. I mean, do have something I need to promote today, but it doesn't matter.
Well, we can still go over that.
It's about the long term, long term success.
Yeah, yeah. But we can still cover that. What are you wanting to promote today as well?
Um, I did my first launch in May,
Mm-hmm.
and Matt Olson.
Mm-hmm.
I basically bought his coaching, just helped me with the product creation, and basically he contacted me and asked me. He said he's got a launch going on today, and he asked me to promote. So I'd like to repay that favor, in promoting.
Yeah, for sure. Um, well, we can get. We'll just go ahead and get started then. Um, so when it comes to mindset, okay, like when you approach your um, emails, what you always need to be thinking about is branding yourself, okay? And what that means is anything you do, somebody's watching it, okay? And it's important that you're aware of that. And so what I mean is like I'm always branding. Like I have a rule, like kind of two rules for ABB. Always be branding, but also always be building a relationship.
Yeah.
And what I mean is, from the very beginning, like the moment they get your follow up, the very first follow up to the moment they unsubscribe, you should always be branding in some form or fashion. And the way I like to do that is talk about myself, talk about like what's going on in my life. Like I talk a lot about my baby. I talk about um, my wife and how I work in the yard, or just whatever I did that day, or
Yeah.
recently, or big stuff. And on top of that, the second half of that, first of all, the reason I do that is because I don't want to be seen as a salesman, if that makes sense. I want to be seen as like somebody that's a friend that's just trying to give them information. And so I'm genuinely always branding. And when you're branding in that regard, um, it creates an image in their head. So I'll show you what I mean. Like if I pull up my first follow up here, you'll see just kind of an example of what I mean by branding. So this is probably a bad example because I don't use this title. So ignore that title because that's a bad title. It's something I was testing.
Yeah.
But if you look at the follow up, it says, "What's up? Stephen Gilbert here. I've teamed up with Dan DeSilva and Yair Dolev to bring you super CPA profits. If you've got a minute, I'd like to give you something, but not until I introduce myself, okay?" And so this is where the branding starts. And so from the very beginning, I want them to know everything about me. Um, and we'll get into follow up sequences and stuff a little bit later, but I just wanted to show what I mean. So I talk about what I do. Um, I talk about my age, little interesting tidbits about me. I'm trying to create an image in their head so that they see me as an actual human being and not as someone that's trying to spam their inbox and get them to buy stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't want them to think that I'm just gonna be up in their spam. I want them to think that I'm different, and so that's how I brand. My brand is me, and of course my blog, which is soulweb.org, and I call it like where internet marketing meets integrity. That's just my tagline.
Yeah.
Um, but that's a brand, and brands are what's big, and it's like the way I explain it is this whole course, yeah, it covers email marketing, but it's structured around risk diversion. I mean, you'll notice people come into the industry and then they disappear after a while because they can't really figure out how to turn it into a full time business.
Yeah.
Like I've been doing
That's
this since 2011, man, and at least this part of my business, and the profits you saw, like this stuff right here, this is just from email marketing. It's not even including webinars, not even including product launches, not even including all the other stuff I'm doing.
yeah.
Um,
That's
so
crazy.
yeah, dude. So uh, and really, I think it's all because of the risk diversion, and um, and that's all this is. And so when you brand like this, and when you uh, treat your customers right, when you do what you say you're going to do, um, it's all a way to lower risk but give you a solid foundation to work from. So you said, oh, aren't you tired of launching all the time? And it's like, yeah, dude, I hate launching all the time. I usually don't launch twice in 1 month. I usually only try to launch once every 2 or 3 months.
Yeah.
And that's because,
It's a bit of a flawed business model having to launch all the time.
yeah, man, and plus it looks bad for your brand. Like, what's wrong with you if you're having to put out products all the time? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's just for me. Honestly, I don't think it actually matters. I think I overthink it when it comes to that stuff. Um, but for me, I like to focus on the customer, and it's hard for me to do that when I'm launching all the time. But at the
Yeah.
same time, it's completely possible. So it really could be any type of schedule you want. Now, just to, like a quick question that people always ask, they ask, how much should I mail? How much should I email my list? And the answer is no more than at least no more than one offer a day, tops, and that's actually kind of pushing it on the high end for me anyway. I prefer to just like mail um, when there's something good, okay? And
Right.
what I mean by good is just something that is a niche that I think will fit my list. Um,
So, I got a quick question.
yeah, go ahead.
Obviously, when you have a bit of success, like I have recently,
Hmm.
you get a lot of people wanting to be friends and asking you to promote their next launch and stuff.
Hmm.
How do you go about picking and choosing which
Sure.
you promote when they've already promoted you and done well for you? Do you promote them anyway, even if you're not showing the product?
No, okay, so yeah, man, a lot of people are gonna message you, all right, but it look, that's $211,000 right here, and another 225 or 30 on the other one.
Yeah,
Um, my list is my biggest asset. It's bigger than my bank account. It's worth way more than my bank account. So, yeah, I get hit up all the time. People like, you promote this, you promote that. Well, in general, my rule is I'll only promote if it's good. That's like my first rule. So, um, one, I'll only promote if it's good. Two, if it fits my list, meaning a niche that is relevant to the most recent product I created. Three, um, if
I,
the vendor has a good track record. And here I'm just typing this
I
in.
can't see where you're typing that.
Yeah, yeah, I was putting it
Oh,
in
yeah,
chat.
yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, I've seen it, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
yeah. So, by good track record, what I mean is, like, say I had to choose between these five people, okay? Well, they all have a pretty good track record, so that's actually a terrible example. Um,
Oh,
so if they all have a pretty good track record, right? Then I need to pick the one that fits my list. So PLR is not going to do well. Um, my list doesn't really like email marketing that much, so um,
yeah,
I would avoid that. My list doesn't like Fiverr very much, so I would avoid that. So if I was going to promote something today, it would either be this or this, and that's only for the reason that it's in my niche, okay?
yeah,
So assuming all five of these people hit me up, I would tell three of them no, and my reasoning would be, sorry, Fiverr just doesn't convert well for me, or sorry, email marketing doesn't just convert well for me, or sorry, PLR marketing doesn't convert well for me. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So you like the way I say it is like, you spin it, because I know it's like hard to tell people no sometimes, especially when you're new. And you don't even have to tell people no. Like sometimes the easiest way out is to say, just send me a review copy and I'll go through it. You know what I mean? And if
yeah,
it's good, you can promote it. But when I'm deciding what to promote, it comes down to those three things. The product has to be good, because if the product's good, your customers that you're emailing are going to stay happy. All right. Um,
definitely. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Um, and the vendor's got to have a good track record, because if they don't, then you're missing out on money. You know what I mean? And the way I determine that is I'll go to Warrior Plus or JV and I'll just enter their name, because you want every sale to count. If you're going to send 20 front end sales, you want to make sure that back end is going to convert at least a little bit, so you can make even more money off those front end sales, because those leads
yeah,
are worth money to you. So if I had to pick between these two, all things equal, whether it's the IM affiliate funnel or simple CPA siphon, I would like just look at their stats. So I go to the affiliate network and enter the offer title, or sorry, the vendor name, so that I can get an overview here. So he's not even gonna come up because he launches with his partner. Are you joking, guys? Come on. I guess they don't. I guess they closed their offers down. Let's see. Well, so Tom's, I guess, is a bad example.
Yeah.
But what I try to do is find uh, what you know what their stats are.
So okay. So if,
So
say for example, you just put art flair there.
yeah, exactly. Like you
Yeah.
want to see their track record. You want to see their conversions on an old funnel. You want to see their EPCs on an old funnel. It's easy. It's a bit easy for me because I know all these people. Um, Kevin Fahey's pretty big, so I know he's gonna have a decent one. And all things considered, even if you can't search on here, then these blues and yellows are they kind of tell you that that these people know what they're doing, but they're not. It's not all inclusive either. Like because Gorab knows what he's doing, Matthew knows what he's doing, Henry's pretty good too, and so is Fergal.
Yeah.
Precious is good. Cyril is pretty big. Like so, it's not like when the colors aren't consistent, and so when I'm trying to find the things to promote, it really comes down to it better make me money. It's got to be good, and it has to be relevant, right? Because obviously PLR marketing 2.0 isn't going to do well with my list, so I'm going to waste an email, which is always bad.
Yeah. So when you're saying like one offer today, per day max,
Mm-hmm.
um, and say you straight, it's a launch going on, it's first day of the launch, and you promote something, and then the next day, do you carry on promoting that?
Right, and so it really like honestly, it's much better to pre-promote than it is to just mail uh, one offer a day because you're going to get bad conversions mailing one offer a day. But I realize that you're new, and that you might want to promote for a bunch of people as well. But for me, what I find best is like a 3 day pre-promotion campaign minimum, or even just like 2 days, where you mail like 2 days before it goes live, one day before it goes live, and then when it goes live. Um, and the idea here is to get as many eyeballs to like a pre-sale page, or just even on a pre-sale email. Is you want people to see your argument and your angle, okay, so that you can try to warm them up to when it goes live to check it out. And when you do that, that's how you get these types of conversions here.
Yeah.
And hang on, I'll show you. 24% on the front end. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
And the reason I call it risk aversion is because the more days you put in front of it in general, and the more steps you follow of this method, the higher conversions you're going to be, which ensure that you don't waste a mailing. Now, these conversions are a little low, but I promoted this like 12 hours in advance, so it it really wasn't as good as it could have been. And then actually this one too. I'm not even sure why I'm sending so many less clicks on this one, but um, it you get the high conversions by mailing in advance, and that's called pre-selling. So my whole spiel, my whole idea, um, is to get as many eyeballs on my pre-sale page or pre-sale argument as possible, because that warms them up. All right, and the way that and the reason I do that is so that when it goes live, I have as many people as possible. Because I mean, we have small lists, I mean, mine's a lot bit bigger than yours. But with a small
Yeah.
list, you want to leverage every click. So when if you can send 80, 90, 100 people or 200 people to a pre-sale page over 2 days, then that's 200 people you've pre-sold for an offer to go live. And then when the offer goes live, they'll all check it out, and then you'll get higher conversions. So then I'll mail when the offer goes live, and then I'll start the second half of my method, which is just the closing campaign, which I don't even always do, because the great thing about this method, this whole idea, is that it's fluid. It matches to fit your needs. Say there's like a launch today that you need to promote, you can mail today. Say there's a launch in 2 days, well, you can still mail tomorrow, and then that day, um,
Yeah.
as a pre-promote, or say there's a launch in a week. Well, then you could do 5 days pre-promotion if you wanted to. It's completely fluid. I don't want you to view any of this as rigid and set in stone, because really the fast and set rule is like, as long as it's making sales, keep mailing it.
Right. Okay.
Um, and when you keep mailing it, that's when we add in the strategies that convert buyers. So after we get people like warmed up and it goes live, the goal then becomes to convert people who either A, haven't been pre-sold or haven't seen it, or convert people who have. And the only way to do either of those things is to change up the angle if you're trying to convert people who haven't seen it, so that hopefully they open up the email, or add a bonus and kind of up the ante, right? To make it a better offer for them, so that people who have already seen it want to kind of pick it up now.
Yeah. And as far as bonuses go,
Mm-hmm.
what do you use?
Okay, so bonuses, I tend to either make myself, or I'll use a past product, or I'll use the ones they're giving away on a JV page. Now, failing all that, uh, as a last resort, I'll use PLR. But before I even try to use PLR, I'll go to the forums. Like, let me just show you here, dude. I'll go to like Black Hat World and Warrior Forum.
Yeah.
And just look for methods that people post about making money, or like that's relevant to the product. So say that I wanted to promote CPA, like a CPA product today, but I needed a CPA bonus. Well, then I would just come up to these forums and go to the relevant forum and look at what people are talking about. Look at what they're sharing in regards to that niche. And the great things about all of it is um, it's all sorted, so you can like kind of go to the forum you want to go to that's relevant to the product,
Yeah.
and look in there and see what people are like, what kind of ads people are running. So let's just say I want to promote a YouTube course. I would look for someone talking about their success with YouTube, right? $101 earned via YouTube. That I'll read it. All right, this looks old. I mean, this doesn't even look like a method. So I keep going. Like, I'm looking for someone that's sharing information, about how to like guide ranking YouTube, to basically how to do stuff. And you see people will just write out these big posts and give away a ton of good useful information, and you can judge how good it is by how many like thinks it's got, if you're not really sure about the
Yeah.
theory behind it. So then what you do is you just take all this and then summarize it in an outline, and then if you can, either write up an article or like a PDF showing them how to do that. If you don't like to be on camera, you can use images, you can use text, and just kind of walk them through this yourself, so that you've now created a value added bonus, without actually having to come up with any content. And at the same time, because you're making it, it increases your relationship.
Yeah.
Now, you obviously don't claim any results or anything here, because it's just a bonus. Like, but if you like, if I got on camera and said, "All right, here's how you rank a video," and just walked them through these steps, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's still some sort of relationship thing. That's still gonna make me look good. That's gonna go back to what I'm talking about with the mindset, where you always need to be branding yourself. So what I try to do anytime I can, like, I try to either get in front of them, or give them a gift or something that's unique to me. I always want to go that extra mile. And yeah, this is way easy, because this is just the easiest way to come up with bonuses and content, is to just find a post like this, outline it, and then teach other people how to how to do it in like a short 15-20 minute video if you have to, or even like a short 15-page report. And now
Yeah.
you've made a custom bonus. Now people know that you go the extra mile. That just, that falls in with the always be branding and always be building a relationship thing, because now people know you're not giving away crappy PLR. Because I'm convinced, dude, that customers can tell. They're like, oh, this is just junk. But
Yeah.
if you go the extra mile, sometimes it can help. And this is the easiest way to come up with content to do the bonuses.
Yeah, it's a good tip. I can see what you mean. I mean, it wouldn't convince me to buy something if I seen loads of PLR
Exactly.
bonuses.
And when you make it yourself, you get the added opportunity to say you're not going to get this anywhere else. This is something that I made for you, unique. Um,
Yeah.
which we'll cover as we start getting into your promos. But it's just an easy way to get bonuses is these forums, and there's other Black Hat forums too. So there's just tons of free content. Like I haven't. Like when I got started in internet marketing, I just how much content is on these forums. I didn't buy a single info product. Okay, all I did was go through these forums and learn and learn and learn and find stuff that find the hottest, most highest rated topics, and then I would go and test and test and test and figure it out. Because I was like, why the hell would I pay other people for information that's already out there? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All I have to do is find it. Like, because there's so much stuff. It's just like,
That's tons.
yeah, dude. So I learned all my internet marketing career from just reading forums. I never bought a single info product. And then after I had some success with CPA, and transcribing and whatnot, I realized I could start doing this type of stuff like these guys are doing, and start putting out info products. So I actually got my first product I put on the WSO forum back in 2011, and
Yeah.
what I did was I showed them how to type, and not really teach them how to type, but how to make money typing with like transcribing and whatnot.
Oh
and,
yeah.
and my angle was $5 a day type thing, which isn't much money, but at the same time, um, a lot of people aren't making any, and my angle was if you could just make $1, you're gonna realize you can make $100, and they ended up selling like 4,000 copies, and that's when I realized that there's just this big market for.
Information. It's crazy, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. And so then I started focusing on that rather than my transcription business. And ever since then, I've just been putting out that type of stuff. So coming back to the mindset, the reason we do these types of things where we have, where we give away gifts, where we add good bonuses, where we pre-promote, is because doing this stuff lets your customers know that you're not just spamming them. Because believe it or not, they're probably on 50 different lists. Like, they're getting tons of emails, they're getting the spammy stuff. So when you add value by doing these bonuses, by doing these reviews, by doing these pre-promos or making videos, it makes you stand above the crowd, right? If you imagine like if you're looking down at an imaginary world with 50 different email marketers standing on an equal playing field, by doing these things, what it does is it moves you up and increases the chance that you'll be remembered and respected by the customers in the industry, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No,
So if you like come over here, even though this blog looks like it has a bunch of content on it, it's really only got, oh, come on, 5 things of free training. But it's probably got, oh yeah, 30 reviews. You see what I'm saying? And the reason the reviews are so low is because I started really working on this blog probably in January. And I don't always do reviews, but if you look, even though all I do is sell to people, because I've added so much value by giving honest reviews and other things, which you don't even have to, you don't even have to do a video. You can still put a review on a blog text only. Brett Rutecki does that. In fact, he sent like 200 sales to my last launch, and it was just a text only.
Who did that?
Brett Rutecki.
Oh yeah.
So you don't even need videos if you're worried about being on camera. Um, really, as long as you follow the strategies of pre-promotion, the whole thing still applies. You know, like just I'll show you what I mean here. He gave it a 3.5, but he still promoted it. There's not a single video. You see what he does? He starts off here. He's got an image from the inside of the course because he didn't want to make a video, and then he just types it out, and he shows like writes out a review. And like yeah, this part takes a little bit longer if you know you don't want to do videos, but it still worked. And he ended up sending. Look over here.
That was some launch, that.
Oh man, tell me about it.
Still killing it now, isn't it?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's still pulling in passive sales, so that's all they can ask for.
Yeah.
So right now it's just sitting there, but this isn't actually profit. This like let's see, I guess $25 profit. Then it's split 3 ways, so like $7.
Yeah.
$40 profit yesterday. $40 profit. So it's like $10 a day profit sometimes. Maybe sometimes a little more.
Yeah.
Now you come over here, you look at how well he did. $294 sales.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah. So you definitely don't have to be on camera. Do what?
Yeah. I was just saying 31% conversion rate as well.
Mm-hmm. And the reason he's able to do this is because he brands, it's because he builds a relationship and he treats his customer right. And the way that we do that, you'll see the top affiliates here are all people, and like this one right here, that's actually me.
Right.
The top ones are the ones that treat their list right. Like Vincata doesn't do reviews, Raimundas doesn't do reviews. I think David might, but Greg does, Tom does, Brett does, Mike does, I do. And you just see the difference in conversions and performance. Like,
sure,
18% for Vincata, but for Greg, 45%. For Tom, 37%. For Brett Rutecki, 31%. So when you do these, review styles, like I said, I call it risk diversion. Because the more people you get to your pre-sale page, that's called pre-warming them. It warms them up, and then a percentage of those convert, and then throughout the launch you work on converting the rest. And you can see how I maintained my conversions as the launch went on. It actually started out a lot higher, but when you do a closing campaign, you start sending more and more traffic, so your conversions go down. You can see Brett didn't do a closing campaign, so his is a little bit higher, but me and Mike both did, and we dropped from 31% to 20, around 20.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, the style works. So you're definitely going to want to try in your spare time to come up with some sort of blog as a hub. Now, if you don't, do you have one?
Yeah, I already have a blog.
Cool.
.com.
What is it?
Craig.com. I'm worried about the header though. I don't think it's doing the right impression.
Let's see. Yeah, I mean it's fine for now. But you could change it to be like let's see, something more brandable. This is good. Like this image, that image is good. That's good. Now the how to make money online is just too generic. That's just gonna make you blend in. You see what I mean?
Yeah. So you think the image of the caricature with the money, that's fine?
Yeah, absolutely, man. You ever heard of Chris Munch?
No. Chris
Munch? Yeah.
Oh yeah. I've heard of Chris Munch. Yeah.
Yeah, see?
Ah, okay. Yeah, I never thought about that. Yeah.
He only uses caricatures. He doesn't like being on camera either. This might be him. Let's see. I don't know. It could be. It's hard to tell. Yeah, I get that could be him. I don't know, but he only used a caricature in his business, so caricatures do just fine. So the caricatures is good. It's just the how to make money. Maybe you don't even have to have the how to make money there. You could just be CraigDauber.com. Now with the branding, um, what I like to do is my tagline is where internet marketing meets integrity. Um, but I see you've already got 331 likes, so that's good. Um, I see you do written reviews.
Yeah, I did that one. Yeah, I mean, I haven't posted much. Most of them are just articles, just content.
Okay.
Like I said, I haven't been using it much.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, you don't have to. You could still pre-promote through your emails only if you don't have time. But it's a good habit to get into because it gives you a hub, like a place to interact with with customers.
Yeah. Oh,
Because like,
good idea. Yeah.
just get me one. Just get me one. Um, and you can see how much people just enjoy the type of format. Um,
Yeah, you're getting a lot of comments where I don't get any.
yep. And so this, like, you see me responding to this comment. Anytime
Yeah.
someone leaves me a comment or sends me an email, I respond. Okay. And that's all in the mindset because I want I want to stand out. I don't want people to feel ignored because if they feel ignored, then you're going to lose a potential buyer. If
Yeah.
someone's taken the time to email you or comment, then they are a prime customer that you don't want to lose because that means they're engaged with internet marketing. Okay. And when they're engaged, they'll buy stuff. So it's very important that you respond. Plus, it makes you stand out because most people don't respond. They're just too busy, you know? Like, you don't have to respond. You can keep doing what you're doing, but your list isn't going to last as long if you don't. So, what I try to do is kind of build like a cult following and almost community around what I do. Hi, Steve. Regarding my access, could you please answer my email? Can't wait for your launch tomorrow. So, Tatiana's having problems. Hey, Tatiana. Have you tried contacting the support desk for Snap? Steve and Greg are sifting through the technical issues for people that have them. Let me search for your email now. So then I'll reply, So I'm sure it's some bullshit, honestly. It's always something stupid, but at the same time, you know. Okay. So she just wants the course. I sent that to her. So that's taken care of. So that's a happy customer,
Yeah.
But this is all just like, this all has to do with maintaining, the relationship. Do you have to talk to anyone or can this be done by emails? And I try to answer every question. I've gotten a bit suave at how I answer it, kind of like with a little bit of double speak, but not really. See, like she's asking, how long does it take to earn the money in your hand? I would say something like it takes Amazon 15 days to pay out, I think. So it could take that long before the client pays you. How much time does it take to go through the steps? It's actually very fast. We cover that in the interview, which, watch the damn interview. Let's see. How much time does this take to go through the steps? Whatever, you get the idea. I'll answer that one later.
Yeah.
Anyway, so, that's the mindset. Brand yourself, always be building a relationship, treat them right by responding, and add value by doing bonuses and reviews. When you add value, suddenly you're not asking people to buy. It makes it feel like the decision is their own. And the best way to describe all of this, everything we're about to cover and everything you're about to learn, is a comment that Colin Therio left in my email marketing group, which you're in this group, I assume, right?
I can see your screen, yeah.
I know, but are you in this group? Yeah, okay, good, you are.
Yeah.
So let's show what Colin said, because this is just perfect. Don't do that. I want to see what he had to say. Okay, fine. I'll just find it. Here it is. And this explains everything, okay? He says, I did a whole training, like, the question was, hey guys, this is my first post, nice to meet you. How many promotions do you do every month? I have a buyer's list, blah, blah. He said, I did a whole training on this for my own group. Don't think of a ratio of content to promotion. If the point of you having a list is to make money, it's all promotional. The only kind of content you should share if it doesn't link directly to a promotion is what I call pre-selling content. It should educate the prospect about potential problems and pitfalls in pursuing success in your niche. It feels valuable because you're helping them avoid issues, but it doesn't solve any problems or help them make forward progress. This creates a desire in a reader for the solutions to these new problems they have learned about. So then you simply offer them and explain how they help, and the list will be primed to buy already, and they will think it's their own idea, which is exactly how this whole thing works. Like, look over here. Now, if I show you the emails that I wrote for Encore, this, like the one from today, is a little bit different, so I'm not even pulling it up. It's a little bit more advanced thing that I did. But if you look at my email for Encore, the problem was the end of websites.
Yeah.
Now, that's an intriguing title, huh? So my argument was, earlier this week, I found a way to make $500 every 7 days without a website. Why? Because websites are dead. Nobody wants to spend months working what feels like 2 jobs just to hope that they rank and can leave their real one. This just got product of the day. Well, let's see. Let me show you the pre-selling email that he's talking about then, because that's a better one. It follows that formula a little bit better. But the idea is to create problems in the reader's head, and then solve those problems. And it's best if you create, real problems. But, sometimes it's hard, to come up with a good problem to fix. But that's the basis of sales, is fixing problems. So if you can create a problem and then fix it with the product, you know what I mean? And then convince them that it is a problem, then you're golden. So here's what I said. The end of websites is here. Why? Because nobody wants to spend months working what feels like 2 jobs just to hope that they rank and can leave their real one. And even when you do, their earnings are a pittance, which means you just have to replicate it over and over to get any decent revenue. But that all stops today. I found a way to make at least $500 a week without a website, product, list, or any of that jazz. And many people are making a lot more. So what I've done is, this is called soft selling. Hard selling is when you're like, this is awesome, check it out. You can get this, this, and this. It's just really like, it's at a really high frequency. It's a lot of advertising clutter. The soft selling is a lot more subtle, and it's when you create the problem, okay? And the problem is that websites take way too long before you get results, and you don't make much even when you do. So then you just have to replicate it. And now other potential problems would be headache, like it's a huge freaking headache to learn. It's a huge learning curve. It's not easy, you know. And then you can start branching off that and creating problems. And so that's the idea. Everything Colin says right here is exactly what pre-selling is, and it's why it works, because you feel useful. Like it all ties back to the always be building relationship and always be branding, because while everyone else is like, oh, this is great, I swear you're gonna make $1,000, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen, blah blah, you're being useful, you're seeming like you care, because you're talking about how about potential pitfalls and problems. Like the problem with websites and the pitfall is, like I said, it takes too long. And so then you stand out because you're providing a solution now. So that's just another way to relationship build, which is why I enjoy it so much. Do you have any questions?
I see you're ending with a PS as well. You're branding, you're giving yourself a bit of a relationship there, saying you're heading out with a wife and so yeah. On the PS.
Exactly. And so that kind of brings me to just another resource I can give you just right off the bat. It's a oops, not that one. It's this one. So if I pull this over and we just compare it here, you just see exactly how it plays out. All right, so this is like my typical email format, and the cool thing about it is pretty much everything is like you can move it around if you need to, except for the sign off, the PS, and the intro hook. But all this stuff can be in kind of any order. Yeah, but I try to keep it this journal format because this is what works. So I start off with what's called the title, and attention getting title, usually results based. So here's the title, right? An easy way to bring in $500 a week, right? And the way that I come up with that is usually just by looking at the sales page. What does the sales page promise? Now, what happened with this one is this sales page was promising like 1.7 million or something. So I put it down in easier to understand terms and made it a goal that they could expect to reach. Made it an easier sounding goal, right? Because big numbers turn people off, period. So I turned this one into a lower number. But in general, the attention getting title with results works pretty well. But you can also see that when I mailed my list saying screw making websites, that did pretty well too. So it's not a hard and fast rule. It's more like test as many titles as you can and save a list of the best, right? So I'll definitely be using this angle again in the future, just because it had a lot higher opens comparatively to the others. But in general, consistently anyway, the best way that I found is just some sort of results-based title, whether it's traffic or whatever. So if we look at the email here, and I sent you this text on Skype. So we got the title and then the intro line. Now the reason the intro line is important is because I'll just show you. Most email services will show the title and then the first intro line, right? So we got the title here and then the intro line. And if they're going to be reading this, either of these, what the hell does that mean? Anyway, if you're going to be reading this, either of these is a potential way to get someone to click. That's why it's so important, the intro line and the title. So if we come back over here, you'll see my intro line is the end of websites is here. So when they get my email, they see that title and then they see me say the end of websites is here. That sounds ominous. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Which increases the clicks. And then I lead into the intro hook, which is basically that problem. You know, the problem, like how you're creating a problem. It's how you get them intrigued, how you get them with the information. And so in this case, my hook is pretty much right there. Why? Because nobody wants to spend months working what feels like two jobs just to hope that they can rank and leave a real one. And even if you do, you're not going to make any money. And then I lead in, then I start the lead in. And basically, my lead in is a reason to click the link. Really, I should call this a pre-lead in, because what I like to do after this is talk about my result, like soft sell results. Right here. So then I say I found a way to make at least $500 a week without a website, product list, or any of that jazz. And many people are making a lot more. And then my lead in is this. That's like a call to action.
Yeah.
So then they'll click, and then optionally you can do more angles after that if you want to keep selling. You know, talk about the benefits, talk about what it does. But in general, I try to get them to my blog and on that page interacting with it.
So if they went to that link in that email, is that a pre-sale?
Yeah, so it would
Video?
send them send them over to my blog. Now it has a video, but you wouldn't need one. This is exactly what Brett Rutecki does, except when he sends to the page, it when it sends to the page,
Yeah, it's just
it
text.
doesn't have a video. Yeah, so works either way. Let's see if I can get back. Ow. So I didn't really do too many other angles. I said, other than this is something pretty unique that I think you're going to love, talk in the morning. And then I had the sign off, and then the PS, which is the PS is interesting, okay, because the PS is like your tweet, okay, it's your way to pretty much say something completely separate from the email. So I'll use it to relationship build, or maybe give a couple more details about the launch time. And this time I used it for relationship building. I said, I'm about to head on a date with the wife, but I wanted to shoot this out because this is something that could be useful to you. It goes live in the morning at 11, and you can get a discount for the first 4 hours here. So like, I took a two-pronged approach there.
And did you organize the discount?
No, well, generally JVs will put it on the page, or you can ask for one. I tend not to use them. This launch just had one, and if a launch has one, you have to use it, or else you're going to lose sales, because they're just going to get the discount from someone else.
Yeah.
I honestly prefer not to use it because it just means less money. But on these high-price info products, they like to take a 4-hour early bird with a coupon and just get a ton of sales in those first few hours. But that's the general email format that all mine follow. And what you'll notice is you start to develop, like I've got a pretty unique like voicing writing style. And so while this all seems complicated, it's really gotten to the point where I can put up an entire campaign in video in just like 2 hours, 2.5 hours. And that's shooting the video and everything. So if you didn't even do the video, you know, you could maybe even do it quicker.
Yeah.
Hey, Javette. I'm sorry. No. Thanks, Steve. So moving on. Well, I mean, do you have any questions about this so far, like the email format or anything?
No, 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 that's good. Can you send me the updated
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
text file? If you added a little bit, didn't you?
yeah.
Cheers.
Yeah, no
Uh,
problem.
so a lot of it will be the key to it will be the settings in Aweber as well, won't it?
I'm sorry?
A lot of the keys to getting better open mates and stuff is with the settings in Aweber as well.
Um, okay, so there's not really that many settings you can set. What you need to make sure. Okay, so if you look at number three, like before we begin, like autoresponder settings and stuff like that. What I mean by that is coming over here. Um, is this stuff, okay? So a big problem that people can run into is their domain will end up getting blacklisted, right? Like I could have gotten blacklisted. Let's find out. I doubt it, but
Okay.
all right. So anyway, um, what you want to check is make sure that everything's fine. So everything looks good. I think this one is always gonna fail. Like, let's see.
Do you change your email at all
Yeah,
frequently?
yeah. So if it fails, what you do is you just change the from domain. Okay, you just fix it.
Yeah. So, but does that affect whether you're whitelisted on their end?
Uh, I haven't noticed. I mean, let's see. Yeah, see, this one's always gonna fail. Um, the whitelisted people are Aweber, not us.
Oh, okay.
Right. We can only be whitelisted if we were doing our own hosting. So even though we're not whitelisted on the blacklist checker because um, it says not whitelisted, what that actually means is we're just not like our server, our sole web IP is not whitelisted, but we're sending from Aweber, and if we entered Aweber's IPs, they would be whitelisted. So that's all that means. Um, so like before we begin, what I mean is you want to make sure that you're not blacklisted so that your from address works. You can also set your SPF records, which also help. Which is just something you do on your hosting for your domain that says that the servers from Aweber are allowed to mail using your domain name.
Oh, okay.
And the easiest way to set that up is to just contact support
Yeah.
um, and just give them this. It's like a signature type thing. It's some sort of signature.
Okay, but I could actually just send them directly to that article, couldn't I, as well?
Yeah, exactly. And then just ask them to send it or set it. And it only takes a second. So
Yeah.
that's what I mean by autoresponder settings. Now, if you get to a point where, let's see. Hang on. I got a text about my launch. Sorry, I have a launch today, so I just have to respond to this.
What's your launch you got going on?
I've got Simple CPA Siphon. It's a relaunch, um, and it's honestly a pain in the ass. I didn't want to do this right now. You know, the reason I've having to be work 15-hour days is because I just came off Snap, and then now these motherfuckers are wanting to fucking launch a week before they have another launch, like a bunch of assholes.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, they're like two of my top JVs, so I don't really want to say no and piss them all off.
Yeah.
So I kind of got my arm a little bit twisted because I did try to tell them no, that I didn't feel comfortable doing this. And they pushed me into it. But I'm not going to do it again. I'm not going to launch with them again after this. So, you know, whatever. It's just a headache for me. Like, I want to be focusing on you guys, like the students, my customers, promoting things, helping my customers, maintaining a relationship, you know, basic shit. And I can't do that if I'm having to do all the stuff for launch, which is what I told them. And now they're all like, well, we need this, we need that. And I'm like, I told you, you know, you needed to take care of this, so figure it out. And they'll be fine. I mean, everything's done, but you know, they're mooching off my success, my name, my product now at this point, because I'm they were excited after that last launch, and I didn't want to piss them off. Anyway, sorry for ranting there, dude. So let's see. All right. So we got about 40 minutes left before the 2 hours run out. Do you have any questions? Because I can keep going. We can get into like either your promo or start talking about like different things. What do you think?
I've been pretty happy with what you've done so far. The autoresponder settings, I think, are pretty much right. The mindset, I get all that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to maybe go into how you structure the review videos?
Yeah. So, if you want to do a video, here's the easiest damn way, okay? And you just be yourself. Like, and you don't even, like, if you want to do a video, you don't even have to be on camera, all right? Like, a lot of my videos starting out, I wasn't on camera. It was just because I was too nervous. I was actually way too nervous. So, like, for the first 3 years that I did videos, I wasn't on camera at all. I would just have a little picture of me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or sometimes no picture.
To me, it's more about the stopping and the umming and ahhing and making myself sound like a jackass. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, no, you don't have to.
I want to come across like I know what I'm talking about, you know.
Yeah, yeah. And this is why I use the sheet. Because the sheet really helps me plan it out. Every promotion I do, I just print this sheet off, which I just linked in there for you. And
cheers.
Yeah, no problem. And I'll just work through it. You know, what are the unique selling points of the product? And I'll list as many as I can. Sorry, I have a drink some water. Who is the target audience? And then I'll talk about basically who's going to benefit, you know? And like this one, I'm kind of it's a little more complicated than the rest of the questions because I'll spin it. I'll be like, the target audience is people who want a stable revenue stream but don't have much capital. You know what I mean? So I turn the target audience, instead of saying like, internet marketers who own a website, I reframe it as an angle. So people who want a stable revenue stream but don't have much capital, which means they're gonna make money without having to invest anything. So I'll like flip it, and I'll so for that one, that's the only weird one out of all this. But then I'll keep going. I'll see, what makes it stand out or different. And when I'm answering this, I try to hit on things like product quality or results. Like if you watch this review, if you watch my review videos on my blog, you'll see me just go through this all the time. But if you go to this one, you'll see me, I follow this review sheet to a T. Now it'll say, what makes you stand out or different. I'll be like, okay, well, it's an extremely high quality product, as you can see here, and then I'll pull up the review copy and just start going through it and walking them through it, telling them what they can expect. And like, I use the sheet as an outline, so I just go through all the things I write down over and over, and answer all these questions. And the questions are set up to basically, they're like the frequently asked questions that
Yeah.
I've gotten on everything I promoted. They tend to be the type of things. So they're set up to minimize questions, but also seem like you're giving a lot of information when you're really not, because all you're doing is selling. You haven't really given them anything. And what ends up happening is people know they're being sold already by the time they get to your page. So what ends up happening is you come across as really, really honest and someone who's just trying to give them the information they need so that they can make good decisions. And that's my angle with everything. I'll tell them, like, look, it's your decision. I'm not here to pressure you, because I don't want to be a hard pressure salesman. I want to be very subtle about it, which is why I hit those pain points. I hit the fact that SEO is a headache, that it's a huge learning curve. When you hit the pain points and be really subtle about it, it's just a lot easier. And then you kind of cover up the fact that you're selling them with all this information. And when you answer it all, people, like, every single of these questions, people are like, damn, man, that's one of the best reviews I've ever seen. Like, look over, like, if you click on no website, you can see excellent review. You know what I mean? One of the better ones I've seen. And I get that all the time.
Yeah.
And on a bunch of different reviews. And it's all because I use this sheet and answer all these questions.
And do you have like a list of the frequently asked questions that you tend to get?
Yeah, this is them. Like, I basically took
that is the. Okay.
Yeah, I've angled this to be basically the perfect review video, but it's set up in a way that it answers all the frequently asked questions that come on launches and shit, and on promotions.
Yeah.
And it's also set up in a way,
That's even better, because that'll take a lot of the support away as well on it, because you probably get, if you didn't answer them in the review video, you'd get a lot of questions, wouldn't you? I should imagine.
Yeah, so that's a good notice thing. So you'll see I have 6 comments on this one. This is what I promoted a couple days ago.
Yeah.
12 comments, and there weren't that many questions. But if you see where I did an interview, which doesn't have, like, I didn't have time because I've been so busy to answer all the questions that I needed. You'll see I get a lot more comments asking questions, which is just harder on me. 4 comments on Facebook, 18 comments down here. It just gets out of hand.
Yeah.
Which isn't bad. But at the same time, the page is also structured to sell by giving, like, so like I started off and I tell them what's unique about it. So I'm kind of getting them excited because, hey, this is something special, okay? And then I tell them who it's for, which coincidentally is just for them, but I've reframed it, to say people who want to make money but don't have any capital or something like that. And I'll put 2 or 3 reasons here. And then I'll talk about what makes it stand out. Why is this better than other products within the niche? Like, if it's a CPA product, why is it better than other CPA products? Like, what's the difference? And this is kind of where you can explain the problem. So, like, if we're using the no website as an example, what makes it stand out? Well, you don't need a website, first of all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How can you, how many different ways to work from home are there without a website? That makes it stand way out. And then I'll show proof on the sales page, or like testimonials or something, just like from my screen. And then I'll put the name of I'll go over the name of the product, time it launches, and then this kind of reiterates who's going to benefit from this. Then I go into what's inside the FE some more. This is where I can kind of get in depth with the review a little bit more, talk about exactly what they're getting, how many videos, whatever, show it on screen, whatever you need to do. Talk about the price, talk about the dime sale, talk about how it's open. And now this just does, like, this, it says same as above, but in reality, I kind of sum up all this for the OTOs, and try to do a few sentences about the OTOs, give it a price, um, or like tell them the price, and then tell them whether I think it's worth it or not. And the reason I tell them whether I think the OTOs are worth it or not, and I'm always 100% honest on these, is because when there really is one that's worth it, I'll make a shit ton of sales on it.
Yeah.
Right? So if you come over here, you'll see, I made 31% here, but only 19% on the second OTO. Right? And the reason that 19% on the second OTO is because I told them it wasn't worth it, but I told them the first one was. Now, obviously, that's less numbers, but the last time I told them an OTO was worth it was, I want to say for ecom, and you can see it was $197 OTO, so I made almost 2,800 on that ecom promo.
Nice.
Yeah. And so that's why I tell them. And when you're just honest, you say that OTO sucks. I don't really think it's worth it. But this one is really good. It to them it feels like you're doing them a favor, and that you're being honest. And really, I am being honest. If something's not worth it, I'll tell them. I won't try to sell them on an OTO that isn't worth it ever. Because
as far as the OTOs go, because obviously you're a name now, people know who you are. For me, they don't really know who I am yet. Mm-hmm. So getting review copies of the front end, that shouldn't be a problem. Getting access to the OTOs sometimes,
and I don't even review the OTOs. How I make my decision on the OTOs is just based on my knowledge. So, I'll go to
relevant.
Yeah, I basically just decide if it's relevant. So if you're gonna promote Matthew Olson today, right? I would look at his JV page and see what what the OTO is. Real one-on-one coaching, so that could be worth it. You could, you would be able to say if you did a video.
The thing is, on that one, if you go further down, it actually mentions me. Right at the top, just above there. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? So that's what I'm thinking. That's my angle.
Yeah, you could say, I took this coaching. Let me tell you, it's absolutely worth it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You could say that, especially because your name's on it. So, that's how I do it. And even if you don't review it, so maybe Matthew Olson is like a bad one for this example. But yeah, I think you should do that when you promote. Is say, yeah, I did this. Definitely do that. But when I'm making the review sheet, say you were promoting this. All I do is I look at the OTOs and try to decide if they're worth it. And people will say, well, have you actually tried out the OTO? And I will say, no, I haven't. But I have reviewed it, and it is high quality, and you are covered by your a 30-day money-back guarantee. Personally, I think it's worth it, But and then I'll finish it off with that's up to you. But the way I talk about the OTO, which I don't even know if they may not even list it here because they're douche holes. Generally, the bigger people get, the lazier they get, so they won't even tell you what the OTOs are. They'll just tell you what the price is and say, look how much money we make.
Yeah.
Look, you're going to make money. You're going to make money. It doesn't matter what the product's about. And that really pisses me the hell off, to be honest.
Yeah.
Look, what? I don't what.
Yeah.
It doesn't even tell me.
About the funnel, does it?
Let's see. Nope. It just tells you what you get paid. It doesn't tell you anything about the OTO. That's stupid. Yeah, I hate when people. Look, he got a smug ass grin on his face. I just want to punch him. Seriously, man. Neil Napier, Precious is a fucking spammer, dude. He's an asshole. Any day of the week. Any day of the week, dude. I got an email yesterday from someone named Henry C. All right? I never signed up to this guy. So, I ran the link through a fucking redirect checker, and it's this asshole. You know how much money this motherfucker makes? And he's spamming people through Aweber? Give me a break. Fucking scam. I hate him, dude. He's such an asshole. He is such an asshole. He doesn't care about anyone. Doesn't care about anyone. Huh?
Yeah. No ethics whatsoever.
Yeah, none, dude. He is uploading his entire... He has a list of 150,000 people. I'm guessing he uploaded them to Aweber, forgot to take mine out of it, because I'm getting emails from someone named Henry C. that lives in Turkey, and I took the link out of it, and it's his link.
Yeah.
I ran it through the redirect checker, got the link, and then ran it through my approved affiliates. It's this asshole, and he's one of the biggest guys in the industry. Like, give me a break, dude. No wonder people hate internet marketers.
Yeah.
And he doesn't even live in Turkey. He lives in like Africa. I
It's
hate
it's a
him.
big problem at the moment. I mean, my emails, there's so much crap going in the spam, from people I don't where they're getting my email from.
Mm-hmm. Precisely.
Anyway, that's another topic, and it's annoying, and I wish to stop it because it's killing the industry, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, I mean, it hurts. Like it makes our customers burned out. When I'm very particular about how I treat them. If they start getting a shit ton of emails, then they might miss mine, or they might just think internet marketing's stupid. It's never gonna work. Why are people emailing me? So
Yeah.
it's just bad. It's just bad as a whole. Like, and he's an asshole, dude. He's never been a good person. He's always only cared about the money.
To
And
be
now,
honest,
like
I've
him,
never even heard of him.
exactly, because he's so big, he doesn't even talk to JVs anymore. All he does is copy and paste like this. Like, look, here's the last one. Like look at this shit, dude. And then I'll respond to him, and he won't respond back because all he's doing is going down his Skype list, spamming that shit out, and then spamming people on Aweber. Like, here's what he sends me. Anyway, I'm just raging because this really pissed me off. They won't even tell you what the OTOs are, so I'm just supposed to figure it out myself, really, because you want to tell me how you make money instead. Like, no, dude, I'm definitely not gonna promote it.
Yeah.
So anyway, back on topic to the course. So I'll look at the OTOs. Generally, 9 out of 10 times, you'll be able to see what the OTO is. Okay,
Yeah.
and then I'll just tell them. I'll give them. I'll tell them what it does. I'll tell them the price and whether, in my opinion, if I think it's worth it. So on like Todd's, I promoted Todd Gross's launch yesterday. I said the first OTO is a software that helps you rank to the top sellers listing. I think it is absolutely worth it, but that's going to be up to you. It's $67. The second one is $17, and it has to do with paid traffic and Facebook, which I think is a little weird because the front end is so good. So I honestly don't think I would pick this up if I were you. But again, that's up to you, and you can make that decision for yourself. And then I'll move on. So
Yeah.
I'll spend maybe 30, 40 seconds on the OTOs, tell them the price, tell them what it does, and whether I think it's worth it, and I'll move on.
Will you go to like the JV page and actually show them an image like that on the video?
Yeah, like I'll have the JV page pulled up and already at the OTO if I want to.
Yeah.
Other times I'll leave the sales page up, but this helps. You can definitely leave this up so they get the information on that if you want. Like, that's not like I definitely do this, and so do a couple of the other students. So really just giving your honest, truthful opinion. Like, you don't have to be salesy. You don't have to get on video and be douchey or lie. You just get on there and go through this damn sheet and be honest with people. Like, if people say, oh, how do you get big in internet marketing? Well, you treat people like they're people, and you treat people the way you want to be treated. And it's like, yeah, I do some, silly sales stuff or some psychological tricks here and there, but I don't promote anything that I wouldn't recommend to my grandparents, Like, and I know it sounds stupid, but that's how I am about it. And you don't have to be that way, but I gotta tell you, man, I've been a recovering drug addict now for almost 2 years, and the reason I ended up on drugs is because of the unethical, stupid lying and shit that I was doing. And so the only way I could compromise with internet marketing is to just start being honest with people.
I mean, that's fair play. I'll take my hat off for you to, coming through the other side.
Oh, dude, it's nuts, man. It's never over, never over. But it's part of who I am, so I don't hide it. That's another thing. Like, my follow-up email actually mentions that I'm a recovering drug addict because
I read that. I wasn't actually at the time, and then we moved on.
Yeah, and so I played in my weaknesses, right? Because I'm a person. Like, I'm selling to people, but I'm also a person. And when you're honest with people like that, you know it really is a relationship. You know, it's a friendship. Like when I go and I watch Russell Brand on the Trues, as much as everyone hates him, for me, before he stopped doing it, that was a relationship because he was like speaking to my soul, you know, and I knew a lot about him. Um,
Yeah.
and it's the same kind of thing. Like, yeah, I'm selling, but from the moment that they get on my list, they're also in the story of my life, you know? Like, here's what I've been through, here's what I do, and here's what I've, did today.
Yeah.
Or maybe doing tomorrow. Like yesterday in my email, I said 3 more weeks till the baby is here. So I keep them involved in the narrative of my life while I'm also, um, doing other things like,
Yeah.
um,
For me, I find it difficult to come up with different things that I'd be able to tell them because
yeah, and you don't have to. Like, it'd be like,
my life at the moment is just one big circle.
that's what you tell them, man. I've been telling people that. Like, I'd be like, I'm just swamped right now. I'm working 15-hour days and life's a blur, but I'm still doing the hardest that I can, is what I'll tell them. Here's what I found. I found you just being honest. You just be yourself while you go through and just provide value. Because this is all this is. Like, these videos, these reviews, it's providing value. You're putting in more effort than other people do in the hopes that you're going to get paid for it.
Yeah.
And in general, you do. You get well paid, um, and it works really well. So I'll go through all these, and then I'll close off like a final call to action. Like, so if it's a course like that's in a niche that I'm in, I'll just, if I know something about it that I can say, I'll include that, or I'll try to give, some positivity, like, be persistent, whatever. Really, the best way to sorry, I'm removing these messages. Okay. Really, the best way to just do any of this is be yourself, walk through it. If you don't have anything to add, you say, hey, I had a great day with my daughter today. I love the things that I am affords, whatever. It doesn't have to be interesting. Like for me, one time, like I cut down a tree, so I was like, guys, I just cut down a freaking tree. That's nuts.
Yeah,
Like that's
that's
boring.
isn't it? You don't do it
Yeah,
every day, do you?
yeah, it's not. That's boring. People don't care. But like holy crap, I just be myself because that's the first time I ever cut down a tree. Um, and then I went fishing and I caught a fish, so I told them about that. And it's like it's boring, sure, but at the same time, you can spin it. You say, yeah, I went fishing at like 11 o'clock on a Tuesday. I love internet marketing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. There's that angle in there.
So you could always change it up, but when you don't and you don't always have to keep them involved in the narrative, especially from an email. But when I make these videos, which you'll see, before I get to like number one, I'll just spend like the first couple seconds, maybe 20 seconds, talking about me. And the best way to even see how I do this is just to go to my blog, and if you get time, watch a video or two,
Yeah, yeah,
because that'll just kind of give you a feel for how I roll through it, and how you can like kind of play off that. Like it's really simple, man, and I know it's gonna be like kind of maybe intimidating, especially now as you're first starting. But the only way to get over it is to just do it, and the easiest way to do it is to have a structure to it, which is why I use this. Because I mean, even now I'm like, shit, I have to make a video. Well, at least I don't really have to think about it. I just have to fill out the worksheet, like.
yeah. The sheet definitely will help, I think.
Yeah, well, and I take the sheet, and I'll even tell them, I say, look, guys, I care so much that when I review a product, I go through a sheet and take a shit ton of notes, and I'll show them. And I was like, so, you'll see me look down at the sheet. That's because I want to give you, as much information as possible so you can make a decision whether this is right for you. And yeah, I do things like push psychological buttons and pain points to increase sales, but I prefer to do it that way than to lie to get the sales. So it's just easier for me. So providing the value, like honestly, the only reason I'm still even in internet marketing anymore is because I realized I could actually provide value to people. Because when you're just sending out, like, dude, I spent 2 years just sending out emails, especially with like a video or like a 3 minute video that's not as long. Just hype emails, making tons of money. Money was great, but I felt empty inside, you know. And I would get hate emails. People like, stop effing emailing me, you piece of shit. You know, all this stuff. Like, it really ruined my day because in my head, I still feel like a little kid. You know what I mean? And people are cussing me out.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that'll ever stop though, will it? You always get the hate emails, but
Honestly, I haven't. I mean, yeah, you probably, you know,
I get people that have legitimately signed up with me. You know, I don't mail every day, and I still get hate emails.
well, that's the thing, man. When I do things like this, like branding from the very beginning, my hate emails have gone way down, man. I probably get one maybe every couple months now. In fact, what I mostly get are like positive comments because of, I mean, like I said, people don't see me as a salesman anymore. They see me as a person or as their friend.
Yeah, which is good. Yeah.
Yeah, and it all starts from that very first follow up. So they see literally everything.
So
Um,
so so with me at the moment, I will say I've got the 1,600 buyers, but they haven't seen that. Well, they've seen a follow up email, but I can't go back and send them a new follow up email, can I? You know, so
yeah, if you add it in, it'll send it to your whole list. Don't do that until yeah, I wouldn't add it in. But you can just send out a broadcast with information about you as well. It's pretty much the same thing as a follow up, and then maybe copy it over. I don't know.
yeah. Can I if I edit that first follow up email, what I've already got in there, it won't send it out again, will it?
It's hard to tell, man. Because look, I'm not sure how it works to be honest. Because I thought they had fixed it to where when I added the follow up, it wasn't going to send it to the whole list, but it did. So like when I added these two follow ups a couple months ago and deleted two more, and they fucking went out to the whole list for some reason. So I'm not exactly sure how it works. Like I try to. The only time I'll add a follow up is right when I make a new list, and you should be making a new list every time you put out a product because if you don't, then you can't segment. And what ends up happening, I'll just show you, is you end up having to send to all your lists at once, and you get poorer results than if you segment. Like when you segment to your lists and not and send to them in segments rather than all at once, you actually get way higher open. So you see, I sent to 9,881 people, 670 opens.
Yeah.
But in reality, like if oh sorry, okay, so you can see 9,670 opens 9,000. But then over here, I didn't mail to a segment, and I did. Let's go down here. Man, oh man. Focus. I need some caffeine in me.
Because I have like obviously all the freebies on one list, and then because I've had two launches, but they were exactly the same product, they were just rebranded for the second launch on Warrior Plus. What did we are? So I have the affiliate supremacy list, which is like I don't know, there's 500 on there, and then the rapid niche profits list. There's the 1,100 on there or whatever. And then what I did, I used the list automation and put them onto a list, a customer list, a full customer list, so I can actually email them all at once.
Oh, nice.
Does that?
Well, yeah. No. That's yeah, that makes sense. I mean, you can definitely do that for like those two lists, but when you get bigger and bigger, you end up with like, I mean, I just have so damn many, man. It's stupid. But what I found is when you segment and mail to smaller segments, you tend to get better engagement. Like, you see, I sent to a list of 2,647 people. I got 800 opens. Of course, the title, it was about the product they had bought, but at the same time, that's a smaller list. You come back over to and look over here, I sent to 11,000, which is now I'm just including them to my original list, and I can't even get above 700. When if I just split them up, I got 700 on one, 800 on the other. So it's like much better to.
But you're sending the same email.
Okay, so when I do that, what ends up, it is the same email, but I change the intro. by just like a little text, but it'll say the same thing. So like, I'll give you an example here. Man, I'm tired. All right, screw building websites. So it's two different lists, but you'll see that they say similar things. All right. Earlier this week, I found a way to make $500 every 7 days without a website. Last night, I found a way to make $500 a week without a website. You see what I mean? And all I changed when I'm sending these settings, I changed the intro out. I changed this part out. The
the
sign off. See? And then I'll reword the PS a little bit. And the reason you do these, and the only reason, is because you have like you'll have multiple customers split up between lists, and when you mail the list separately, they'll get multiple emails. And if that happens, it'll trim them just like this. Let's see if I can find one from me here. That's not.
I have another question as well. What I just thought of. I would mean to ask this as well.
All right. Here's what trim. Here's what trim does. That's what'll happen. And instead of having this up here, it'll have the dot dot dot, and they won't even read it, and you'll get terrible clicks. But all right, what's your question?
Okay. Yeah, I know what you mean now. Yeah. And that's so if you change those 3 points like the PS and the sign off, it'll come in as a separate email.
Right, and
Not as trimmed like that.
yeah, exactly. And you want to change the title a little bit too. So like,
Yeah.
change a character or two in the title or reword it, so that it comes in and is looks. And yeah, it's the same angle still. Like we haven't changed the angle, but it just makes sure you don't get trimmed and make sure that everyone can open it.
Yeah. Okay. So my question is like, at the moment, since I did the launch with Art, because we used Zapier to put it so the lead went on all three of our lists, self, Mark, and Art. Art's sending emails at the moment, and I don't know whether he's doing it on purpose because I haven't got around to asking him, but the same emails coming in twice. Is that something you taught him?
Is it coming in at the same time?
Yeah.
Next could be you have two emails on his list.
Okay.
Do you forward your emails to one inbox?
Yeah, they all go to Gmail. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I do too. So like I have like 5 different email addresses that I use throughout internet marketing, and they just all come to my one Gmail. So when I'll mail, what'll happen is like, look here. Yeah, if I could just find an older one with not a bunch of comments. See, I get 3 for the same one. It's just because it's sending to that email, and then to that email, and then to that email.
I know they're coming through separately though. They're not coming through like that.
Oh, well, do they come through at the same time separately?
Yeah. So
could it be different autoresponders?
It'll be exactly the same, and then one above it's the same email. I thought the same headline and everything, same subject line.
Huh.
I thought.
Is it the same?
And that's
subscriber options.
Seems to have started happening just recently.
Weird. No, I haven't taught him that. Is he doing it every time?
Yeah, basically.
Maybe. Can you show me what you mean? Can you share and show me? I'm on the case.
Let me try and find them because I deleted them.
Oh, okay. I might be able to find them. Let's see. Oh, I'm not on this list. You could. Let's see. You probably just type in art up at the top. Oh, there it is at the bottom.
Yeah, yeah.
I saw the two up at the top there. I thought.
Yeah.
He sent two. I'm trying to see if he sent them from like different autoresponders or what. Like, why would you get two back to back like that?
Like that. See this one? See this here?
Ah, okay, so it's 2 days apart. Yeah, but I told him to change the title. I don't know why he's not changing the title.
Oh, I see. Maybe he's sending to unopened.
Exactly, that's exactly what he's doing. Because what I like to do after I mail is 12 hours later I'll hit an opens, and the reason I do that is because of time zones.
Right. Okay. 12 hours later.
Yeah, 12 to 18. And because those time zones, man, like if I mail right now, okay, hardly anyone in America is gonna read it because they're just getting out of bed and they're busy. So I'd end up hitting probably people in the UK and Europe that are midday. Now, if I waited 12 hours from now, or like 12 to 18 hours, and it's like 7:30, then I'm gonna be hitting people not only from America but in like the Asian and in Indian countries too, because it's later at night or or it's like daytime there. You see what I'm saying? And so
Yeah.
when you mail on that time schedule, you hit the different people who maybe just missed your email because of all the ones they got.
Yeah. The like peak times for different.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like I try not to mail around dinner, obviously, but I don't really think about it too hard. I just try not to mail when other people mail, and we'll cover more into that later. But that is the logic behind it.
Right. Okay. That clear. That's good.
Yeah, but I gotta actually get on another coaching call here in about 10 minutes. Do you have any final questions?
No, no, no. I'm more than happy with that. That's good. It's been good.
Okay, then I will export this video and send it over. If you start your promo, what you can do is send me your email and I'll critique it. But I think I actually have to run to the bathroom. I think I'm about to.
Okay, I'm gonna let you go, man. I can see you tired, desperate.
Well, I don't even get to sleep because I have a lunch, so
Yeah.
I think I'm screwed. But
Appreciate it.
Yeah,
You've
yeah.
done well, even though you're tired as well. You've been excellent content. Thank you very much.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Now, what I don't want you to feel, because the students will start to feel like they're bothering me. I don't want you to feel like you're bothering me. Please do not hesitate to send me any message whatsoever. Like when you paid, you get the calls. You also get the one-on-one messaging. So like the calls are like the theory, and then when we get into the messaging and stuff, that's when we're working on your campaigns and emails as well. So please, if you make an email or do a video or want me to even review anything, just say, hey, check this out. What do you think? What should I do?
Yeah. Okay, that's great.
All right. Let me know if you need anything else. All right.
Yeah, I will do. All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. All right. Bye.
Bye.